For the next couple of minutes, I'm going to talk about probably one of the most controversial topics in international business right now, globalization. I say it's controversial because although there are a lot of good aspects to globalization, there are also a lot of bad aspects. So what exactly is globalization? Well, it's the ongoing economic integration and growing interdependency of countries worldwide. So, as countries interact with each other, they're causing the world to become more globalized. Countries are more dependent now than they ever have been before. So, what are the main drivers of globalization? First, the first driver of market globalization is the worldwide reduction of barriers to trade and investment. It has become a lot more common for governments to reduce trade barriers and just kind of give the countries free will to trade however they would like to. This has accelerated global economic integration. These reductions have made it easier and cheaper for countries to trade and interact, and they like it a lot more because they can interact on their own terms. The second driver of market globalization is market liberalization and adoption of free trade. Countries have more freedom to interact how they choose to. Since the government is not as involved as I mentioned before, the countries can experience cheaper, less structured trading. The third driver of market globalization is economic development, industrialization, and modernization. Emerging markets are moving from being low value adding producers to more sophisticated competitive producers. Economic developments is increasing the standard of living and household income. Families are able to afford internet, so now they can search online for cheaper products and they don't just have to get whatever is sold near them, which may be more expensive than what they can find online. The last driver of market globalization is advanced technology. Advanced technology can be split into three main areas, the first being information technology. IT is the science and process of creating and using information resources. It has enabled businesses with the science to update their machines and increase productivity. They have been able to be more efficiently adapt their manufacturing to be cheaper to the producers and consumers and to be produced faster. The second advance in technology is communication. It took 5 months for Spain's Queen Isabel to learn about Columbus's voyage in 1492, 2 weeks for Europe to learn of President Lincoln's assassination in 1865, and only 2 seconds for the world to witness the collapse of New York's Trade Center towers in 2001. So as you can see, communication is becoming a lot faster. We can interact with someone on the opposite side of the world in a matter of seconds. The internet has introduced us to new ways of communicating, which has enabled us to spread our ideas more quickly and cheaper than ever. The last advancement in technology is transportation. We can now transport raw materials, components, and finished products cheaper than we ever have before. So since we're able to better move around our products, we're able to better spread our ideas and the trade becomes easier. So now that I've told you about the drivers of market globalization, what are the negative aspects? Well, first, countries have lost their national sovereignty. They are unable to govern their own affairs because the rules differ from country to country, so it's hard to enforce individual rules. The next negative aspect is offshoring. Since production costs for many countries can often be lower in foreign countries, some businesses decide to relocate the manufacturing part of the value chain to a foreign country. Although this does create jobs for the foreigners, it causes people in the domestic country to lose their job. The next effect is that it negatively impacts the poor. Multinational firms often pay lower wages to foreign workers, exploit the workers, and employ child labor. The workers agree to these low wages because finding a low-paying job is better than finding no work at all. Also, the children must work, many of them full-time, in order to provide for their families. Many of the environments that they work in are unsuitable for them, and they're working in environments like sweatshops and other environments that they just shouldn't be in. The next effect is a negative effect on the natural environment. Globalization can harm the environment by promoting increased manufacturing and economic activity that results in pollution, habitat destruction, and deterioration of the ozone layer. So as we become more industrial and as our factories become more advanced, it's causing pollution to the atmosphere and spoiling previously pristine environments. Over time, the government has implemented more regulation to try to save the natural environment, but this is still a very large problem. The last effect is that it negatively impacts national culture. Market liberalization leaves the door open to foreign companies, global brands, unfamiliar products, and new values. So as we interact with each other, we're passing on our beliefs and our cultures and our traditions onto other people, so their culture might be diminished. Consumers are increasingly wearing similar clothes, driving the same cars, listening to the same music, and eating the same food. So, what is my opinion on globalization? Just like a lot of things, globalization is good in moderation. I think that a little bit of globalization can help countries trade for cheaper and can help them find cheaper products, but obviously it's causing problems like